the donut. Bubbling crude. We don't even know if this is possible.
You got your manual? We gonna get her in there.
We gonna get her.
What are you doing?
Totally blowed out.
I'm telling you what. Get him.
Oh. Okay.
Under pressure.
Come on. That is crazy.
You're supposed to be helping with the RV.
Right, Rocky?
Somebody fine on you there.
That's
What are you
better.
doing? Oh, laws. Oh, we got escapee. Got it. Whoop, whoop. Tater, get in there. Ah, she good. Oh, she close. Woo! Woo!
No chance.
Yeah.
Got that servant's heart. Locked herself out of the house. No, wheezing the jewels. Georgia line. That's my dream car. Like Winnie, son.
Shoot for sale. Furious.
That's approved right there. Wiggly wiggly.
What are you doing?
Dang, son. It's impeccable.
He's loafering.
One ugga dugga.
Dingle dot that in there. Ow!
That's a bummer. Come on now. New world record right there.
Oh, good Lord.
This stinks so bad.
Ratchet.
Swankosaurus Rex.
Dang.
Stink on Dookie. You ain't got no license, girl. We don't have any other option here. Love a good junkyard. I'm out of options. Let's get home. There's a phone bidder.
Yay!
That's unfortunate. Golf clap, please.
Funny.
What? Walk.
What in the Dollar General? We finna see.
Never been done before. Name of science. Nobody's ever done before. Buzz Aldrin?
This is really janky, Dad.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Never before seen.
Hose clamp can't fix.
Darn skippy I'm gonna be. Oh, man. Word.
What in the world is going on there? Sauce on it?
Jewel and a goat's butt. What are you doing, Rocky?
Husky
Kitty.
Whoop-a-doo, whoop-whoop. It's disgusting.
She went over.
It ain't easy being crazy.
Welcome back to the Sleeper Dude YouTube channel. We are back with our 5.9 Magnum that we did a budget rebuild on here at home. Even put our own cam bearings, polished our own crank. If you haven't seen that video. We've got our rebuilt 46RE that Curtis Mobile Driveline did for us down in Tarpon Springs, Florida. And we are planning on bolting those two together and seeing if we can get them back in this motorhome. So we pulled out a 360 LA out of this, a 1974 model, because that's what the van is. It's a 74 Dodge B300 Minnie Winnie Winnebago that we have remodeled the inside. So we're in the final stages of getting this thing done, and we're doing our 5.9 Magnum swap. We're planning on going fuel injected, overdrive, lockup torque converter, all the good things. Should be a decent jump in power, fuel economy, and everything else. So we've got to figure out how to get this thing in the van, see if it will fit because it's very tall. Also try to figure out the wiring, because our plan right now is to run the stock Dodge computer out of the Dodge Durango that we got for 800 bucks over there. We pulled this engine out of. Once we end up selling the Durango, we should have hardly anything in this engine. I'm not 100% sure it's going to fit in there with the transmission bolted to it, but I'd like to try it that way because it's a lot easier than getting underneath there and put the transmission in. So we're also planning on running the 99 Durango accessory drive with the AC pump, so we got to make all that work. We've got a new radiator for this thing, trans cooler. We got a lot of stuff to do. I don't know how far we'll get in this video, but let's get started on this swap. So I'm going to start out by filling up the torque converter. Now,
You mean the donut?
I'm sorry, the donut. You don't want to install them dry. You want to put some fluid in it. You can't fill it all the way up because it'll pour out the front. Also put some oil around this for the seal. So this is a lockup torque converter. So that's going to help us with fuel economy, especially on the interstate. Yeah, it's bubbling right there. Got that bubbling crude. We're using a Dextron Micron mix here. It's what I was recommended by my transmission guy. So I'm going to do what he says. See if we can get this thing bolted in. You can see there it's trying to pour out, so that's about all the fluid we can get in there. But at least it's not dry starting the thing. So a normal torque converter, a normal donut slips all the time. So there's all the time a little bit of slip, even if it's a small percentage. The more power you're putting to it, the more weight you're pulling, the more it slips. So with a converter like this, when it gets to a certain RPM or throttle, the computer will lock the converter. Or you can put it on a switch like I've done before. And once it locks that converter, it's like letting out on the clutch. It's almost like having another gear, kind of, depending on how much your converter slips. So it has zero slip, just like a manual transmission would. And you get better fuel economy, lower trans temperatures, all that. So it's a nice upgrade for an older vehicle like this. This is a neutral balanced converter. And our factory flex plate for the 5.9 Magnum is weighted because these 360 Magnums are externally balanced. So it's got an externally balanced replacement harmonic balancer that we did in the last video, and with the factory weighted flex plate, we should have the correct balance for this engine. You need to pay attention to that. It's different with the 5.2 Magnums or 318, so you gotta make sure whether or not your converter is weighted or not. Let's drop this thing in. So you got multiple sets of splines here, and through the center is where the fluid goes and locks up the converter. Anytime a transmission has a lockup, it'll have a hole down the center of the input shaft here. These teeth right here engage into that pump, this is the front pump, which pumps fluid to the transmission. You gotta get all that engaged. If you don't, you have problems, because people do this right here and they don't make sure it's dropped in all the way. There's one drop. There's another one. There's another one. Okay, so we should be fully seated in there now. You gotta make sure you get all those in there. Make sure your spacing is right between your flex plate and your donut. If not, you're gonna have problems. Hey, our new box from factory just came in. What better time to try out our microwave for the first time in this thing? Well, if you've watched our channel anytime at all, you know that we get really excited when our Factor box comes. So if you're not familiar with Factor, Factor delivers fresh, never frozen, dietitian approved meals straight to your door. They have over 34 chef prepared meal options and over 45 add-ons, like my favorite, smoothies. They got shakes, snacks. With Factor, it takes the guesswork out of your meal prep. And for people with a busy family like us, it's nice to not have to go to the grocery store and get all the ingredients and prep all the food and cook everything and have all the dishes to clean. And I love how simple it is. All you do is heat up for 2 minutes in the microwave and you're good to go. And this is real food. This ain't your papa's TV dinner, okay? This is good stuff. Let's see how our new microwave works. Guess that's how it works. It'll be ready to eat in 2 minutes.
A few moments later.
Time to eat. If you're trying to watch your figure, they even have calorie smart options that are 550 calories or less. Or if you're fancy like Wawa, they even have upscale options. With their surf and turf, you can even get filet mignon, shrimp, salmon, and your order is completely flexible. If you want to skip a week, that's fine. If you want to downsize this week, or if you got family members coming in, you need a little extra, you can do whatever you want. No problem. Man, that's good. And look at this. Look at this chicken in here. I mean, that's a real chicken breast. They even have delicious breakfast items like apple cinnamon pancakes and bacon cheddar egg bites. I love my breakfast food. And you can save money versus the cost of eating out or having food delivered to your house. It's way quicker too, only 2 minutes. I mean, you can't get food delivered to your house in 2 minutes. Especially out here in the country where we live, they ain't delivering nothing in 2 minutes. We've been using Factor now for a long time, and it's our go-to option for a quick and nutritious meal. And I know you've seen us talking about HelloFresh before. Well, HelloFresh actually owns Factor now. So if you like to prep your meals, then HelloFresh has something for you there. If you like your meals already prepped for you, go with Factor. You can switch back and forth whatever you want to do. So head to factor75.com or click the link below and use code SLEEPERDUDE50 to get 50% off your first Factor box. That's factor75.com and use code SLEEPERDUDE50 to get 50% off your first Factor box. And big thank you to Factor for sponsoring this video. It really helps out our channel. We just don't have enough room to... Oh, with a new shop, when we ever get it done, we'll have some room. All right, go up, Ralphie. We're definitely not going to be able to fit it with this intake on there, which we never bolted it down for good. I just wanted to keep the dirt out of there. You can see all the brand new in there. One thing that surprised me about these 5.9 Magnums, I just assumed everything was metric, but this is a 3/8 16 thread in the front of the cylinder heads, so they kept the same threads as the 360, which is pretty cool. How much torque can you do like that? What's the torque spec on that?
Not much.
We tried to make the chain as tight as we could because we know we don't have any room, and we know at some point we're gonna have to hook this much farther forward like we did last time, taking it out. And we didn't even have the trans on it, so we don't even know if this is possible. I love this old engine stand. I have no idea how old it is, but my buddy Robert gave it to me and we love it.
You got your manual?
Yeah.
What's the torque specs on the flex plate bolts? I went ahead and sprayed the flex plate bolts and these threads with brake cleaner. We're gonna make sure they're blowed out clean. Now that we got our threads clean, we got some Loctite here we're gonna put on the threads because, you know, I don't want the bolts backing out on us. And we'll torque these down. What was the torque spec on this?
55.
55 foot-pounds, okay. You got her set up for us?
Yeah, it's
Okay. This is basically your reluctor ring. Your crank sensor sits right here and picks up those squares as they go around. It has 8 of them. That's odd. Usually there's like a missing one, but this one isn't set up that way. There you go. Since I'm the only one that can be trusted with the engine hoist,
Seriously?
I'm gonna do this. Hey, we know how you rip that throttle. And Ralphie dropped one on us not long ago. So I have 3 bell housing bolts. And I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 holes. I have 3 bolts.
That sounds accurate for us.
So we got.
What'd you do with them?
I'm not sure. We gotta find our torque converter bolts too. Never fear. Bell housing and converter bolts, I found them. They were just in a different bag.
Okay, okay.
If you're wondering where Wawa and Squeezy are, they're at the assisted living center here in town, playing games with the older people today, but they'll be in the video later on. Right about there, Ralphie. Let me get this bolt started. Man, I hope we don't have to take this back off.
Oh, we gonna get her in there.
Yeah.
One way or another, she going, okay?
I would rather not put all these bolts in the van and try to sneak this underneath there. It's just a lot easier to put in assembled.
We gonna get her in there, ain't we, Robbie?
What?
We gonna get her in there, ain't we?
We gonna do you.
Let's get this up in the air. We can get our converter bolts in. Right there, and you can see we've got like a 1/8 of an inch gap there on our converter, so that's a good sign. Our converter's all the way into our front pump. So I'm gonna put a little bit more Loctite on this stuff. I like to put the Loctite on anything that spins, like the converter bolts, flex plate bolts, you know, stuff like that.
You don't want them coming out.
No, well, remember?
I know.
It did before.
It got around in there, didn't it?
It did. We probably don't need to crank that down all the way, so we have some room, because probably get to the other converter bolts and we won't be able to line them up. It'd be easier if I had the plugs out of it.
There she is.
It's the last one. I bought a brand new crank sensor, actually a Mopar brand crank sensor, because if you mess with a lot of this stuff, aftermarket crank and cam sensors can be good or they can be bad. So I went ahead and bought a brand new one because I actually broke the other one when we were working on this. That way we'll have a good clean crank signal. Also clean that reluctor wheel to make sure it was good before. Now we can put our oil filter on. Once we get it broke in, we're gonna use synthetic oil. But for now, we're gonna break it in on conventional oil because synthetic oil has better lubrication properties and it actually doesn't really help with braking. It kind of hinders the break-in process. So they recommend you breaking them in on conventional oil first. We're gonna pre-lube this engine anyway, but I went ahead and filled it up so it expedites the process. Because the #1 killer of these transmissions is heat, I went ahead and got a BandM trans temperature gauge, and we're gonna put the sending unit into the transmission test port here. There's a link in the description to all the parts we're using here. Hopefully this will help us keep an eye on our trans temperatures because we don't wanna burn this fuel up. I put a new O-ring on our dipstick here that came out of the old 727 that we're upgrading from. Don't want to get no dirt down in there. We also need to transfer a couple things off the other side of the transmission here. This bracket, which is for our column shifter on the van, we want to transfer that over. Probably gonna have to transfer that shift linkage there too. This is the arm that came off of the transmission we got over there. So I'm gonna put this guy right here on it, which is adjustable. It will hook up to our factory linkage.
She's off for the races, huh? Now she can learn how to be a cow. Hi! What are you doing?
I figured out that the hole size is different. This is the new style one, and that's the old one. So I had to end up taking the shift lever off of the 727 to put on here, but we retained this cable style throttle control here because we should be able to use the cable off the Durango. So old style shifter, new style throttle pressure.
She's bound and determined to lay her eggs somewhere in this building today.
I think we got her ready now to start sitting down in there. I do have a couple things I need to get out of the way here. We got our old broke motor mounts we got to get out. I'll probably go ahead and pull this exhaust out of my way because I'm going to try to run the headers that came with the Durango if we can. I'm going to pull the starter out of the way because we're going to use the one off the Durango as well. And I got to take that Crossmember down because it ain't going to fit with this overdrive unit. So Wawa's back with us now from the old folks home. She is going to start working on replacing the idler arm that's wore out. We went ahead and got one of them. And Ralphie is unbolting the wires off of the old starter. And we're going to do a couple little upgrades here as we're putting this thing in. We don't want this thing to be all over the road while we're driving. I mean, this thing's going to do enough wandering all over the road with Mom driving from time to time anyway, huh? Well, I don't know what happened here, but somehow our muffler got totally blowed out. This thing must have backfired pretty hard at some point in its life. It's got a new muffler and old exhaust, so I'm going to cut this off right here since we're going to have to replace the muffler anyway and get this out of our way.
I think that pop is Pringle, didn't it?
I don't know what happened. Somebody must have backfired it, huh? This is just too tight of an area for that overdrive to fit through. We probably will be able to cut it and use it, I would think. There we go.
There you go.
You're tightening it. Here you are. Clockwise, if you're looking up at, it's tightening.
It's turning this way. That's not tightening.
Yeah, it is. Try that. There you go. We may end up reusing this, we may not. We'll just have to see when we get the engine all in there.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Ow! You're right.
Yeah.
Trying to get this bolt up out of here. This was the only part in the front suspension that we saw that looked worn out was this one idler arm here. We're going to eventually put new front shocks on it as well, just because they're old. Alright, got that end out of there. Now we got to get this other end loose, which is usually the tricky part. Sometimes it really helps to hit on the side. There we go. Yeah, I've had better luck hitting on the side than I have anything. Looks right to me. I believe we got the right piece here. Moved it back and forth. This was the only thing that had a bunch of wiggle in it, and you don't want too much wiggle or you'll be wiggling all over the road. I knew this right here would be a booger to change later. It'd be stupid not to change it while we had all this front end out. So hopefully now that'll take some of our lost looseness out.
Loosey-goosey.
Yeah, since we swapped out the wiggling pin on the wobbling shaft.
There he is.
Train killer.
Get him! Get him! Show him who's boss.
We've also got to take our old mounts off our other 360 and put on this one. I just keep finding things I forgot I need to swap over because the 5.9 Magnum out of the Durango was bolted here, but thankfully Mopar was thinking about us and put the same mounts up here, so they'll bolt right in.
Scooter, come in here and get out of the rain.
You're gonna smell like a stink pickle again. Every time it rains, he smells like a skunk.
Because he attacked a skunk and it won.
Alone again, naturally.
Ralphie, go over and see if she popped out an egg. You see an egg?
Yeah.
Wait. It'll be hot.
Oh, it is still hot
I
though.
told you she was popping out.
It's hot. Feel it. Ah, it's got crack in it. It's cracked.
Finally got it laid out there, didn't she? She was bound and determined to do that in here today. I don't know why. Just where you want to be when Jesus comes
Yes,
back.
I do. He took.
You better be nice.
He took my egg.
So here's our old broken motor mounts. It rocked over so hard that it hung the throttle wide open in the yard. Bought us some new motor mounts here. That should fix that problem. It feels good to have new stuff in this thing, you know? We've been working on this thing for 2 years now.
Let's go Kuwait for water.
Wawa's greasing this because it comes with a little bit of grease, but just barely. So we're going to grease the whole front end while we have it open like this. This one right here is a booger. There is basically no access to this. And if you can get your wrench on it, you get like that much of a turn. It's not enough to grab it again. I'm having trouble getting this one in. Can't really get the ratchet wrench on it because it's so far up in there. This lip is in the way. This one on this side is not fun. Cut it, Ralphie. We'll grease the other side.
What did you caught? Did you catch a clover or something?
Jamal, what do you got?
I'm so excited to go on a trip with this. It's gonna be so fun.
It's gonna be awesome, isn't it? We gotta buckle down and get this done.
Yeah, we've got to. Been waiting for this moment.
Cute kitty, you bring it over here.
Oh my gosh. This is so heavy.
I'm going to let it down. It's already about hitting the master cylinder and the hood. All right, let's see if I can scoot it back some more. I'm hitting the master cylinder. I'm going to go down again. I can't go down a whole lot.
This is so hard to do.
The shifter thing. We had to switch jobs here. All right, can it come back any? How close is the oil pan to hitting?
2, 3 inches.
All right, lower it down really easily.
I got you.
So, can you scoot it back now?
Valve cover thing that you broke off is still hitting.
Okay, well, I got the pan on the Crossmember now. That's good. All right, lower it down just a little bit, Ralph. Our valve cover's hitting, but it looks like our oil pan's gonna clear now. We may get this thing in there. Oh, okay, not that much, not that much. Okay, okay.
The top of the cherry picker is hitting the
Yeah.
thing. Now it's good.
Oh, okay.
Now it's hitting wires.
We're pretty good. We'll get a jack on the transmission, and we'll rehook the engine hoist. Can you sit right there, you think? If I can rehook you? That should keep that transmission up. So we've rehooked it here in the front where it just picks up from the front only. This is how he took this engine out. Oh, you alright, bud?
Alright then.
See that shift linkage wall?
Yeah.
Get the transmission. Try to watch it and make sure it doesn't hurt anything. Ralphie, can you pull the transmission towards you with the jack?
I can't.
It's going. There you go. Okay. I'm going back now. Ralphie, watch the jack and make sure it doesn't slip off that transmission. It is so tight. Look how close these valve covers are.
Yeah, that's scary.
It's hitting the oil cap right now. I don't know if I can get it off. It is a tight fit in here. We have like a ½ inch at the top and a ½ inch at the bottom.
You might have more room if you pushed it to your left. Yeah, like that, maybe. I don't know why you're stopped. There's nothing back this way to hit.
Let's see if this helps.
Yeah.
There you go. It's moving, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ralphie, can you jack it back up a little bit, or is it hitting the Crossmember?
It's hitting the Crossmember.
I think this right here is slowing you up.
Oh, we're hitting the Crossmember here. All right, let the jack down a little bit, Ralphie. Easy. We're going to have to wait until we get that oil pan down underneath this Crossmember, and then we can jack it back up, hopefully. Maybe that'll get us in.
Yeah, that's better.
See, that oil pan's sitting on the Crossmember. So it's got to go back another 2 or 3 inches to drop.
It's almost there.
Well, now our chain is what's in the way. That's going to be fun. We have another 2 or 3 inches to go, but we're hitting the firewall. Before, we had no transmission, so I may have to just let some slack off this and let it kind of fall over that edge.
Oh, Lord.
Maybe. I can't hook it any farther forward.
Oh, and we come this far. She going in there.
Okay, okay. All right. I love it when a plan comes together.
You making me a nervous wreck.
We're in front of this motor mount, though. We got to get it.
The other one isn't, though, is it?
The other one's not, no. Is there any room to jack the back end up, or is it touching the top?
Yeah, a little.
Okay, come up a little bit then with your end. That might help me.
Okay, there you go.
The transmission's got to go towards the driver's side more. That's where our issue is here. Like that right there. We're getting close now to being on the motor mounts.
Come on, baby.
Okay, that one's on. I may have to let more pressure off of it. Is that one still on?
Under pressure.
There you go. I think it's on it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is it on there, Wall?
Yeah, it's on there. There you go.
It's in. Oh, now we just got to figure out the transmission thing.
Well, at least we got it in there.
Yeah. I don't know how they ever put 440s in them. That is a tight fit right there. I got the nuts started on the motor mount bolts here. At least we don't have to take that transmission back off. I was a little worried that we may not be able to fit it through like this, but we did break our one PCV valve, but that's not a big deal. We'll get another one of them.
I'm really glad it's in there, though.
Yes. I'm glad there was no catastrophes. I was afraid it was about to fall off the engine thing.
Well, we've ran into our first hurdle here. The top of this overdrive unit is too thick and hitting this cross member. And the old transmission was 7.5 inches to the center of this output shaft. So we need to go about 1.5 inches up. So we're gonna have to cut a couple inches off of this right here to get this to fit. I wish I'd have known that before I'd have cut it before we put it in here, but I just thought we'd have trouble with the cross member, not this here. We don't want to get any more dirt in our engine than we have to here. Right there. Well, looks like it's going to fit, doesn't it? Yeah. I mean, the back's going to come up about 1.5 inches, which is going to affect it, but we may have to get creative with our inlet, but it definitely looks like this will fit, doesn't it?
I think so.
And I don't know if this guy's going to fit.
I think it's fine.
It is. Well, this is going to come up about 1.5 inches. It's going to be really close. And we could duct off this with, like, dryer vent, you know? Look good. Ram air it under the bumper. Come on. So they weren't much on maintenance. Look how it's actually like almost drilled a hole in that and all that black soot around it as well. And this is the O-ring for the distributor. Look.
Oh, wow.
Just cracks and breaks. It's completely stiff. So this is why you should change all your O-rings and stuff. I went ahead and did that. And I've never seen a distributor cap in this bad of shape, I don't think. Look how much corrosion is in there. Look on those tips. It's just flaked up corrosion. Do you see it?
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
That is crazy, huh?
Especially for it not being super old.
Yeah, I think that's the worst distributor cap I've seen. This may be the original cap. You know, maybe somebody went 250 thou on that one. So we're gonna replace the cap, rotor, and the O-ring on the distributor. Well, I've got it apart. Distributor.
What?
Oh my lord.
You ever seen one that bad?
No. It's incredible.
That would be smacked in the mouth.
Yeah.
That was really a lot easier to cut than I thought it was going to be. It's really not that thick.
We didn't need that little piece anyway.
No, let's see if that's enough or if I need to cut more out. I just kind of eyeballed it, didn't measure anything as usual. Dad would have had a stroke. Keep going. We got about another 1/2 inch to go. Right there. That's where the old one was.
How was that a 1/2 inch?
What do you mean?
I pulled it like 7 times. After you said that's about 1/2 inch.
I'm going to cut the bottom off this because our transmission is about twice this wide. And I'm going to try to use this top halves and build a new bottom half out of this. There we go. Hey, we'll save that for the old 727, Ralphie. Don't grab the ends. You're good to go. Hopefully we'll be able to build down from this and under this thing with a rubber mount here. That's what I'm thinking. Well, it is absolutely pouring the rain now, so you wouldn't be able to hear anything we do. We're going to come back as soon as it quits raining. Granny's even in the barn. She ain't getting out in this. Finally quit pouring the rain on us. We're back. Wawa's already started working, cleaning this old sealer off here. I'm going to work on making this transmission cross member. What's your job? He doesn't know. We just noticed something. Look how off-center this engine is. They mount this engine all as far as they can on the passenger side. And look at all this gap here. Like, there's nothing centered about any of this. The engine's off-center with the frame. This opening here is also even farther off-center. Kind of weird built vehicle. Let's get back on it.
You getting it cleaned up, Ralphie?
Yeah.
So I got this mounting plate here that Dale had with this transmission core. And it also has this big rubber mount here. It's kind of a monster. I don't really like how big it is, but maybe it'll give that soft ride. So I'm gonna make something that comes from here up to there, which right now I think our jack has let us down a little bit. We gotta get back up where we're supposed to be. All right, up there. So we're gonna have to come off of here and down right at 10 inches. So it's gonna have to come down 10 inches and then over, and we'll drill some holes to mount this to. I wish it was flush with this. It's a little bit lower, but this RV sits up pretty high anyway. It'll probably be fine.
We're gonna paint this jewel.
I'm stalking a victim. Oh.
So I got this 2-inch angle iron here that I believe we bought for Ralphie's Jeep. Don't tell him. I'm gonna cut it up and use it for the Crossmember. We'll have to get some more for the Jeep, I guess. I marked where the edge of this rubber mount is, and I'm gonna cut these tabs off of here because they're right in the way of my very narrow Crossmember.
You're supposed to be helping with the RV, not weed eating.
A little bit to the left.
With me?
Yeah.
So I gotta drill some holes in this right there so we can bolt this onto that and then we can weld it. If my calculations are correct, there.
That's a good drill bit.
How you know?
Flakes them off there.
Instead of having it hang down like this, I built it so that it will do like that. It won't hang down any lower than the studs are. Fit right up against that, and we can weld this to our uprights, and I think we'll be all right.
So we just ran a chicken out of here, and Ralphie's gonna check to see if she laid us an egg.
There's another one.
Is there another one?
Yeah.
Why does she want to come in here? It's cracked again.
Well, it's on the cement floor.
It's because she's laying on the concrete.
Yeah.
What's wrong with her? She was laying them in my grill.
Well, there you go. That's our creation. So I'm gonna take it out here, final weld it. We'll probably spray some paint on it. Should be good to go.
You think I could turn it off?
I've got that one south down on his head. He can't get
We
it
gotta
off.
get 2 dimming helmets, I guess. I was too cheap to buy 2 of them at the time. Yeah, very good. Looks good.
Hey.
Look at that weld.
Wow.
Telling you what, that's A-okay right there.
Yeah, good job.
That's some of your
never
best
gonna
work.
move.
Looks pretty
If
good.
you've got an old bed frame, then you got a Crossmember. Right, Rocky?
It's picking up the leaves for you.
People just ain't gonna believe. They're gonna think Puddin's Fab Shop did that, you know? All them fancy dimple dyes I put in it and contours.
The exhaust looks mighty fine on you there.
He's the V8 goat.
What are you doing? You getting the starter?
I don't see it in here. Oh, wait, yeah, it is. It's in here.
Good to know.
He's checking out your engine job over there.
Oh yeah. There ain't nothing that gets past him.
Get up here. Oh, God. Is this loosening or tightening?
That would be tightening still. That's clockwise. There you go. Now you're loosening it. Give it the hand hammer.
Ah.
I think you have to say hi-ya for it to work.
Yeah.
Oh, laws.
That's a pretty big difference in size.
This one on the right
Old
side.
and new.
Dinger, ain't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, the new one sounds a lot better than the old ones did.
It's so sleepy.
Hopefully she still fits after we did all that. Right there. I've really outdone myself on this one, I feel like. You can't buy a quality like this.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guys, you think it's gonna break off and hit the ground, or is it gonna hold it up?
I hope it holds.
No jack required. I didn't expect to have to modify it that much, but that thing's quite a bit wider than the 727 in the back. This would probably be even a bigger deal if you were put it in like a small car, you know?
Oh, we got escapee.
Which one?
The orange one and JJ's trying to get out. Oh, and the white one's out. Tater, get in there.
My hands are dirty.
Oh my gosh. I think it's feeding time.
Ralphie's gonna go ahead and pull the drive shaft out of this thing because now it's like, I don't know, probably 3 inches too short if I had to guess the length because this transmission's longer. So we're either gonna have to cut it down ourselves or take it somewhere and have it cut down and balanced. If it's okay with you, Ellie would like to be right beside you at all times.
She sit like on my leg.
Oh yeah.
This is a red. You're gonna have to hurry up for that bottle. They're trying to find milk everywhere.
Golly, it's ridiculous. I already fed y'all. I already
It's gonna
fed
make a leap
y'all.
of faith right here. Got it. Whoop, whoop. Sometimes you have to get up amongst it, huh?
Yeah.
You're doing great, Ralphie. You almost got it. It's the last one.
No, it's actually not.
Oh, I thought you said it was the last one.
No. Okay.
So these little straps here and bolts is what holds that in.
Let's go.
All right. I'm assuming this is the same splines. This transmission is based off of a 727. I probably should put some oil on that and clean it before I throw it up in the brand new trans, huh?
That would be a good idea.
Sanding this with 600 grit. I'm gonna put a oil on this. Ah, she good.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Oh yeah, it's the same. So that's bottomed out in the transmission. How close is that to working?
Oh, she close.
Not close enough though, because it's got to have some free play for when the suspension goes up and down and stuff. You could probably get away with cutting like 2 inches off of it, something like that. We'll make a measurement here, see what we got to do. From the seal to the center of this cap is 59.5 inches. I guess now's as good a time as any to see if our doghouse fits or not. Now we're gonna have a seal that'll space it up just barely from where it's at. We really have no idea if this is even gonna fit.
I think we're good.
Oh shoot, look, we got like over 1 inch up there.
Awesome.
Look, we got all that room. So we still have to insulate that because the factory insulation had fell out. So we're waiting on a kit. We're gonna insulate the floors and the doghouse. That is awesome because we really did not know if that was gonna work or not. And my plan is to take this down, like I said before, all the way out to a cold air source. So it's a Ram Air WS6 RV.
Woo!
Woo! I've cut down a bunch of drive shafts in my time, but usually it was in vehicles that I wasn't planning on driving. Okay, every time it was in vehicles that I wasn't planning on driving across the country and back. So probably what I'll do is wait until the local drive shaft shop opens up tomorrow, and I'll call them and see if there's any chance of getting it in quickly. I know I can get it back on there straight. It's just balancing it. I have no way to balance it. That's what these weights right here are for, is balancing. I need to take the drive shaft for the big block Fairmont and the rear axle and have it narrowed and have a drive shaft made for it. So knock 2 birds out with 1 stone with that one.
What? Is that a saying?
That is the same. Everybody says that. Okay. I figure this is as good a time as any to see if these headers are going to fit or not. I just could not get to that on the car. I'm really thinking this one will fit for sure. This is really not the side I'm worried about. Yeah, that would fit no problems right there.
Yeah.
Right? It even comes out in a good spot, don't it, down there?
Yeah.
So we're good there. Is there any chance, Ralph? Nope, no chance.
Maybe it's the floor.
Yeah, we can't cut the floor, and we really can't move the engine either. All right, manifolds it is. That's a bummer. I was really hoping to put these on there. I'm gonna go ahead and say our manifolds had a little bit of a leak. I'm gonna unbolt it off here because we really can't set this back in there in one piece. Hopefully our manifolds are in good shape. I haven't seen any cracks in them or anything yet. I was really hoping to have a set of hog leg headers on this thing.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's kind of a bummer that we can't fit headers on it, which I had looked it up and nobody lists a set of headers for it. Well, those appear to be identical to each other. I don't see any cracks, do you all?
No.
The thing is, this short runner length is not good for producing power. Putting a set of long tube headers, if you look at any dyno stuff, they usually pick up power throughout the whole power band when you put a long tube header on it. It's all about the runner length on them, just like the intake. So it definitely would benefit from long tube headers, but unfortunately we don't have room for them. So you can see how he's filed that and it starts showing up where the low places are, the rusted out places. So if we keep doing it till it looks all clean metal like that, we should be good to go on sealing it up. But it took a bunch of time today to make that transmission cross member. I mean, that's pretty obvious if you look at the quality of it. We figured out some good things today. We know what our drive shaft length needs to be, you know, what it takes to do the cross member. So we will see you guys tomorrow and we'll get back on this.
Shoo.
You're a bunch of crybabies. All right, next day, we have decided to go ahead and take the drive shaft to get it shortened. We're gonna load this up and head down there. It's actually in Georgia, so it's next state over. We got some stuff for the big block Fairmont as well. You'll see in a future video. We're gonna have work done to them while we're down there. It's a little bit different today. Wawa actually graduated from 8th grade last night, so she's the only one out already for summer break. So we're taking a special trip down here to Georgia, just me and her, because Mom had to go help somebody go to the doctor's office today because she's got that servant's heart. So we're gonna go down here to Hudlow. We may have to dabble through some retail establishments while we're down here, you know? There's a big Honda motorcycle dealership down here. We locked ourselves out of the house and forgot the car charger for the phone and it's dead. So we got to go in here and buy a charger now. Listen, you better not ask for no snacks either.
Where's the snack?
I know how you are. Oh man, she rolled it out there on me. No, wheezing the jewels. Do you have a coffee straw? Is that what you have? You're gonna slurp that big gulp down with a coffee straw?
There wasn't no other bigger straws. I had to use the coffee one.
Your teeth are already blue. Oh darn, Ralphie'd freak out, wouldn't he? I used to have one of them in a Hot Wheels when I was a kid. Look at them casings on it. How many casings it got? What are all these lanes for? Where are all these people going? I'm just not used to this kind of traffic. Good news is with Wawa navigating, we shouldn't have any U-turns like we normally do with Mom, right? She can't figure her way out of a paper bag, can she?
She can't.
We're about to cross the Georgia line. We're pulling up. We'll see what they say. Hey, look at that 66 or 7 Nova blue. That's my dream car. We're going to have to do a drive-by. That's literally my dream car right there. Blue 66 or 7 Nova. Wow.
That's pretty.
That is exactly what I would have if I just had all the money in the world right there. It's right there with the Fairmonts for me. I love the Fairmonts too, but Nova was my very first car. Shoot, we got a Falcon over here. Another one of my dream cars. Man, look at all the stuff.
Where are we going to eat?
It's literally breakfast time. What are you talking about? We got them all the instructions there. They're going to make us a drive shaft for the Fairmont. So we're going to back up here and unload the drive shaft for the motorhome, and they're supposed to have it done in like just a couple days. Check out Hudlow Axle in Rossville, Georgia, and they'll hook you up. We need that Pacer. Why don't we have that?
I don't know why we don't have that.
Darn, we're at Lake Winnie, son.
How in the world did
We should have got us a pass.
For real.
What in the world? Is that a Buick
Incredible. It's for sale.
on a full drive chassis? It looks like.
Shit for sale.
Oh yeah, I couldn't go by without stopping at the Honda dealership. You can't tell Ralphie. He's gonna be so mad.
Yeah, he'll be furious. This is between me and you.
Exactly. Okay. Growing up, my mom lived in the city, and I used to ride my bike to the Honda dealership and look at dirt bikes, so I just never got out of my system. Just relived my childhood. Oh man, there we go. See, I want like a 125. That's what I want. I'm such a kid. Something like this right here is exactly what I want. Maybe one day, save my pennies up. A monkey. I would kind of want one of these. Pretty cool, huh? I love the seat. Don't you love the seat?
I love it.
Well, we walked out without one. They're more expensive than I thought. It's $4,000 for the one I like, the 125. I have to keep saving. I love going to car lots or going into motorcycle shops and just looking around. I have no intention of buying. I just like looking. That's approved right there. Roadmaster wagon on Torx Russ. Don't get much better. You're so fancy. You care if we get back home now? So after making that trip to Georgia and back, me and Wawa did, and going to a couple different graduations and piano recitals, and all three of them ending up on the honor roll at school. Can you believe that? All three of them got it. So they definitely took after me. And we're gonna get back on this video now.
That's not nice. That's not nice.
And we're gonna start bolting some of this stuff on the engine and see if we got room for everything. I really want to know about the accessory drive, so let's get started. While Ralphie's working on the exhaust, I'm gonna work on the intake since it was just sitting on the engine anyway. This coolant sensor, see how it's wiggly? I'm afraid it's gonna either leak or not work. So I went ahead and grabbed a new one from the parts store there. Just trying to weed out failure points. That's what we're doing here. I cleaned the injectors. We actually sat them in the ultrasonic cleaner and clicked them to make sure they were all working, so they're all working. We got a new gasket on our throttle body here, and we're gonna put a new thermostat in it. They should have made like a 4-barrel version of this, you know?
Absolutely.
Come on. So the factory is a 195 thermostat. If you know me, I usually run a 160 in about everything. So I want to run a 160 in this. I feel like it helps you with detonation issues. I've seen some dyno runs where every degree of temperature above 160, they lost 1 horsepower. So ever since then, I've been like, I think 160 is the number for me. The only thing you have to watch out for is if you get it too cold, like if, say you weren't running a thermostat or something with fuel injection car, when they get below a certain temp, they get in like enrichment mode because it's basically like having the choke on and you would get poor fuel economy, but hopefully at 160 we'll be okay. So that's just like an abrasive disc. It's real fine grit. You saw us use it when building the engines. It works really nice for stuff like that. Check us out on other platforms at Sleeper Dude 88. There we go. We got our 160. This thing just sticks straight up. I don't think it even matters which direction you put it on. I always tighten stuff down that has the gasket by hand. I don't really like running stuff up with an impact like this. So here's our fuel rails. Because this is a later model Magnum, it's a returnless fuel system, unfortunately. So we're gonna have to run a external regulator. We got a Holley regulator we're gonna put on it and an EFI fuel pump since we're converting this thing to EFI. You always wanna oil up your injector O-rings before you put them in. These are brand new O-rings that came with the gasket set as well. This comes with this lock ring. Honestly, I don't think it needs it, but since it was on there, I'm gonna use it. There you go.
What are you doing?
I colored this and it dyed the water. I put roses in it.
This is the last one here. Actually, you're sliding in really good. Let's see if we can fit this on here. Come on, work with me. Hit my foot on the way down. I think we're ready to bolt it on. Before we throw this intake on, I'm going to put some oil down in the engine. It's a lot easier to do this with the lifter valley off, and you can kind of soak all the lifters while you're doing this. And we're also going to pre-lube this engine. Drink it up. We're using our 1540 conventional oil. Now, once we get past the break-in period, I'm going to switch to synthetic because that's what I run in everything that I'm driving all the time. How much oil does it hold, Ralphie, in the book?
5 quarts.
5 quarts, okay. Trying to pull my intermediate shaft out here so we can pre-lube this thing. I figure it'll be easier to do it now than with the intake on it. I'm used to Ford and Chevy engines where you don't have to do this because there's no gear on the drive shaft, but this has the gear built into it. Golly, that thing's a booger. That's not easy to get out of there. So I bought this tool to pre-lube it. It was only like $15, and I guess we'll have it for the next Mopar we do. See, it has that hex built into it, and this is actually a Mopar brand. It drops down in there, has no gear. Right there, it's locked into the oil pump. We can spin this thing and build some oil pressure. I'm gonna go ahead and put a mechanical gauge in here. We bought these at a swap meet recently, and I don't know if we're gonna run them or not. Honestly, what I would love to do is get all the factory stuff working with the stock Magnum computer, and then run a tuner, like a plug-in OBD2 tuner that has a digital dash like our truck does. That could show all the stuff up there, but I don't know if it's gonna work out or not. Until then, I'm gonna put a mechanical gauge here. You think it's gonna have good oil pressure, guys?
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
It's literally brand new. I see the lifters filling up.
Because the 60 all the way to 80.
80?
What? We're still going.
What? Look, you can see it filling up in the lifters up here. Dang, son. That's enough to burst the darn oil filter probably. Well, that's a good sign. And that's just a standard pressure pump. Well, there you go. This fills up the oil filter. It filters the oil. If you got some dirt in there, maybe it filters that out. It pumps up all of your lifters. It gets oil to the rocker. So Very good thing to do. Oh, you hear that? Hear the air coming through the lifters?
Is that normal? Like,
That's the most I've ever seen on an engine when I was pre-lubing it. So
it's incredible.
it's impeccable, I heard.
Yeah, it's impeccable. Agreed.
So now I'm gonna put our intermediate shaft back in here and get it re-engaged with the oil pump and the cam. Wanna make sure it's all the way engaged. There we go. I'm gonna go ahead and clean this off with brake cleaner just to make sure we don't have any oil. So I always just throw away the gaskets that go at the front and back of the intake and just replace them with RTV. That seems to be a pretty universal thing for all professional engine builders, not that I'm one at all. I'm just following their lead. We got everything in place with our gaskets now, don't we, Wall?
Yep.
Oh man, that's heavy. Gotta try to set it down straight.
That looks good.
That looks pretty good, actually.
Thank you very much. What's this guy doing?
He's loafering.
Oh, aren't you supposed to be at work or something?
Don't say nothing. I'm all done. I went there, did my job in 4 hours, I was done.
Yeah, if you would teach me how to do YouTube, that'd be great. Do you approve of all this?
Pretty good. Not bad.
There's 5 steps to tighten the intake?
I don't know if this means
Just tell me step 5, how about that? 144 inch-pounds, there we go, that's what you need to know.
Oh, okay.
Seriously, look, this is the steps for tightening the intake. If you want to do it right, there's how you do it. What I did, I just went in kind of an X pattern here, try to keep even pressure on them, and just gave it 1 ugga-dugga. So that should be perfect. Mike said it was fine. We're good. We're going to figure out the whole firing order and make sure this is in the right spot later. I'm just going to sit it down in there for now.
Okay.
I'm just going to set it down in there for now. Just going to set it down in there for now. Just going to set it down in there for now. Just going to set it down in there for now. I'm just going to set it down in there for now. I'm just going to set it down in there for now.
Like that 8.
Okay, what's going to leave right there? I should have put this on probably when I was dropping the intake on. Kind of a pain to do afterwards. While Ralphie's putting that starter on, I'm going to try to figure out all these brackets. We left all the bolts in them because I've done that before and couldn't figure out where everything went. I bet our dipstick got bent because we all ran into it.
100 times.
Yeah, we all hit that dipstick. Sometimes you just want to hit a dipstick, but this time we didn't want to. 140 amp alternator or something. It's not very big, but it puts out more amps than the old Mopar one did.
Technology.
That's that.
I got it in there and tightened up.
I'll be coming home. Wait for me. Here's a very important part of our project right here. Hopefully this is a good air compressor. It still turns, so that's a good sign. My plan is to adapt this air compressor to an aftermarket underdash AC unit that was like $100, and then an aftermarket condenser as well. This is a big question mark I've had, is the power steering. I don't know what it's going to take to adapt the new style pump to this. Maybe the hoses just bolt up. I have no idea, but I'm going to get this on here and then we'll see what it looks like. Is that going to hit the firewall after all this work? That is not looking good. You take the lid off that. See what? Oh gosh. Please fit. Please. It's not gonna fit.
Just dingle dot that in there.
We're gonna have to do something.
Dent in the thing.
The factory power steering pump was hanging off the side, but I guess it was lower than this. I wonder if they make a power steering pump bracket that's made for a van. Oh man.
Wah, wah, wah.
That is unfortunate. I was really hoping that all this would just bolt right in. Let's see if we're gonna have to modify our floor or our brackets. Hammer, thank you, son. Thank you.
It's feeding time. These little guys are getting big, aren't they?
Yeah.
While I'm avoiding the power steering issue, I want to make sure the rest of this works. So it looks like our tincture, there's no problem there. We should be good with it.
What are you doing? Get down. Look at her belly. Her belly is so big.
I was hungry.
So it looks like from my research, they make a van bracket, so this moves the pump down lower. So it looks like we're gonna have to come up with a van bracket ASAP to make all this work.
Ow!
What's kind of incredible to me is it looks like it's an identical pump to the old one. Is there any way for me to use this bracket and take the pulley off this and put on this? I don't know if that's possible at all. It looks like even if I bolted that up and was able to swap this, the pulley would be out too far. It would be right here. So looks like the old pump bracket is not going to work, unfortunately. Man, that's a bummer. I can't even find anywhere to buy it. Like, I can't find it on eBay. I can't find it on O'Reilly's. I can't find it anywhere.
So we need power steering?
Yes. I don't think you want to steer it with no power steering. Called every parts store. Mom called every parts store, and nobody has a power steering pump bracket. So I'm going to have to start calling junkyards in the morning, I guess. You can't buy it off Summit Racing or anything. So maybe a local junkyard has it. I can go pick it up tomorrow, but they're already closed tonight. So I'm going to go back to working on these. Look, these two studs were completely broke out of those J heads we took off of it. So I'm going to have to drill these back out. Since we have some pretty rough pitting, this is probably where it blew out and was sitting there. I'm gonna put some RTV on this. Honestly, in my turbo cars, which basically have the highest demand for exhaust seal there is, I've always just ran copper RTV anyway, so we're just gonna run the copper RTV. I've had the best luck using that. This one's gonna be a booger. I've done got the glue on it. Come on now. There we go. Look how tight that is. How did they ever put a 440 in these? That seems impossible to me. And this thing barely fits in here. Yeah, hold that up there, honey bunny.
Got it. Get yourself in there. Now you're gonna have to quit wiggling. I'm trying to wiggle
sorry,
mine
ma'am.
in. It's about to take the hide off of your fingers. All right, mine's in.
Go long.
Oh no.
I'm gonna bring the heat.
Really?
New world record right there.
Impeccable.
Y'all saw it first.
New record. I found the culprit of the smell.
Oh, good Lord.
There's a mama mouse, and then there's a baby mouse.
Oh my gosh, I'm
Look
gonna
at the
throw
baby.
up. I'm gonna throw up. This
Let me
stinks
see.
so bad. I bet there's a bunch of babies under there.
Oh God.
This is our AC lines, which it's got like a dedicated manifold, so it's probably gonna be a pain. But I wanted to check and see if it even bolted up, which it looks like it will bolt up, but problem is the other end of these lines is gonna be absolutely, completely wrong for us. So if I had to guess, probably our only hope is to cut these and crimp on new lines to them is probably our only bet. Because look, that goes back to a firewall on a Durango. Well, the firewall's here. That's gonna be an issue. We're gonna have to put new O-rings and stuff in this when we actually do it. But for now, I'm just gonna cap this off just to make sure it fits. We may even have to cut this and weld back here. You're doing a lot of
There's a lot of going on.
Yeah, there is.
I'm gonna switch out the fan clutch because this one ratchet. This is in Spanish.
You don't need instructions, it's 4 bolts.
Yeah, I figured that, but
Take
I
the
was,
4
I was,
bolts
I was
out.
making sure. I didn't know.
Alright, you're good.
11. Probably 12, huh? Negative. 13.
Check out this Swankosaurus Rex fuel fitting I got from Earls. So it's got an O-ring built into it, and it's made to go on the factory fuel injection rail. I got a little oil in there. Slides on just like the factory. This screws down tight, and then we can attach it to a -6 AN line. I've never had nothing that fancy.
Dang.
I know, right?
You got the big guns out, I see.
Yeah. That's loosening, right? That should be good, Dad.
That's not even on there. That's not.
Yes, it is.
Oh my Jesus, hell this Lord. You just about killed us both. Please stop. Okay, they're good.
So that fits just barely. We may have to
Tinkle dinkle it.
give it a little Meigs County left turn to make it fit. We figured out a lot today. We figured out that pretty much everything fits except for the power steering pump. It's getting really late, as you can see out here. So we will see you guys tomorrow. We'll be on it like stink on dookie. Maybe we'll figure some of this stuff out tomorrow.
Shoo out.
Shoo up. All right, next morning. I spent all morning calling junkyards, and I found one that's a few towns up from us. They think they have a bracket, so I'm taking our old one with us off the Durango and every tool I could think of, and I'll probably forget something.
Probably, 100%.
But me and Wawa are gonna try to go get this and see if we can fix our problems. Who do you think you are? You ain't driving. Hey, you ain't got no license, girl. So this is something I rarely get to do, or I rarely let myself do, maybe I should say. I really love going to junkyards, especially when you like get a relationship with them and they're cool about you going in and taking whatever off. Ralphie's gonna be mad.
Ralph's gonna be.
You've got to do 2 things this week that Ralphie would have loved to have went to go do. Hopefully this is the right bracket. We'll compare it before we take it off. Maybe it'll fix all our problems. We don't have any other option here, so this is what we got to do. They said they got one in here. We'll see.
There's no other.
Oh, okay. Where's the first one at?
And this is the other is behind.
I do love a good junkyard. We might find some other things we need.
Oh, definitely.
So that's the Dodge van there. See if it's the one he's talking about. This is the picture he sent me, I believe, right here. Okay, let's get this thing off here. It looks like it's the correct thing. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm gonna roll the dice on it. It's kind of expensive. They want 110 bucks for it, but I'm out of options. I don't know what else to do. Well, she let us borrow her personal wheelbarrow, so that helped out. Even gave us a drain pan. And this thing is way down in here. I wish the radiator and stuff was already out. I'm gonna try to get it off without taking all that stuff out of my way. These vans are just a pain to work on.
Didn't take long at all.
I think that's a lot lower because ours lines up about here. That should fix all our problems, I hope. All right, let's get home. Well, here's my old one, and there's my new one. You can see the difference in the bracket. So let's get home and see if this thing fits. So I may or may not have made a deal to buy a 351 Windsor while we were there. I asked him if they had any because I've been looking for a 351 of some sort. And he said that they had one, but somebody pulled the intake and it, may not be that good. 225 bucks for a 351 Windsor. They're not as easy to find as they used to be. So I said, pull it, I'll come get it. I mean, them pulling it for 225, I feel like that's not too bad. That'll be one we can get home, tear down, and see if it's any good or not. Maybe drop it down at a Fairmont wall.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, she talked me into lunch, and Ralphie called in as a phone bidder and wanted chicken nuggies and a Frosty. So yeah, my envelope's empty today. Here you go, baby. May have bought an engine while I was there. May have.
Are you kidding me?
They had a 351 Windsor. You can't just not buy it. I got some deals in the workings, sir.
Oh, well, I should have went.
So I gotta go back either this evening or tomorrow and pick up the engine. They're gonna pull it out for me. Hey, Fairmonts need motors too. I didn't leave you out, Squeezle. There you go. I took all these tools and all we used was one socket, ratchet, and one wrench to get it off.
At least you were prepared.
See the difference? Hopefully this will bolt up to ours and we'll be good to go now. See how much lower the center of the pump is? I think it goes right here. Ah ha ha!
Yay!
Look at that. So I guess we'll have to run either a special belt length or a belt for the van. I'm assuming the van has the same accessories over here, but I don't know. Man, that just saved our day, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
Hopefully this pump is good. That'll be the big thing. I am trying to see if I can take the line off the old pump and screw it into the new pump. Maybe we can just use our old lines. That's what I'm hoping. They have different fittings. This is the old line off the 74. This is the new line off the 98 van in the junkyard. That's unfortunate. Oh, it unscrews. Ha ha! I think we can take the fitting out of the old one and screw it in the new one. It has a 1-inch fitting here. It's funny to me that these pumps look the same. Ooh, spring loaded. Wasn't expecting that. I have no experience with power steering, okay? I always took it off every car I've ever owned. So this is very foreign to me, okay? I've never had a car with power steering that I built from scratch. That looks the same, doesn't it?
Yeah, stick her in there.
So if you go in here, we should be able to use the new line. Better get that dirt off there, huh? Power steering pumps must be way more universal than I realized. I did not expect to be able to swap out some of these parts and just it work, you know? So I got both the old hoses off of the 74 van swapped on here. Hopefully they won't leak on us and mess up. This thing did always have a funky power steering. It had a whine all the time. That should be the pump, you know, though. This should screw right onto here, just like it did from the factory. That's gonna be awesome. And this guy should go right here. Look at that. I need like golf clap, please. Ralph, you got a golf clap out of you? So a van must have a different belt than the truck because this position here. So we're gonna have to get a new belt for it. So one thing I wanna do while we're in here is tighten up the steering box. If you watch right here, here's your pitman arm. So this is the input for your steering box, this is the output. Give it a slow wiggle back and forth, Ralphie. See how that's wiggling, that ain't moving yet? So if we loosen this jam nut on here, so I can tighten this up, it should start taking up some of that slack because this puts the gears closer together. Can you feel the difference, Ralph?
Yeah.
Did it tighten up some on you?
Yeah.
So you can't go too far with this or you'll get it in a bind, but you can take a little bit of your slop out like that right there. So that should help how this thing drives out on the highway quite a bit, just doing that right there. And it's free. I guess I need to go ahead now and put the heater box back in. That's probably needs to go in before the radiator. Here's our dirty old nasty heater box that's in very poor shape. We got some places that have got hurt over time. If this thing will allow me, I'm going to try to take it apart and clean out the junk that's in it and inspect the heater core and try to reseal this thing. I don't know if it's going to work with me because these are really bad
Why do you
shape.
have to seal it?
If these cracks and stuff aren't sealed up, air just comes out of there and your heat will not blow into the cabin with us. Well, that stud broke. So we have 2 out of 4 studs. Maybe this will allow us to take this top off though. This thing's so fragile.
Ronnie?
What? Well, please. Please don't touch it. Come on, I'm just talking about how fragile it is and you're cracking the corner off of it. It's
I thought it was like gonna like.
no, it's like an eggshell. It's like awful.
Good lord.
Why don't we just get a new one?
They don't have 74 Dodge van heater boxes at the store. Look how this foam crushes in and turns to powder. I'm just gonna have to caulk the whole thing.
Because this is a wreck.
Well, the frame around the core is in rough
She's
shape.
been leaking.
Down in there.
Oh wow, wow.
That's what I was trying to get out of there. And see the seal around our little flapper do.
Well, it ain't even. It's opened up. It's got holes in it.
I don't know where you would get that. I looked for a seal kit for it and I didn't find one. I don't know what you would make that out of, you know? It appears to be made into it, like it's stamped together and riveted. I guess we need to pressure test this thing, huh?
Oh no.
Oh, that's certified. There ain't a thing wrong with that cord.
What in the Dollar General are you doing?
Well, just so happens that every door weather strip I would replace when I did auto body for a living, I would bring the old weather strip home. And I'm thinking I can cut this off of it and use the rubber to reseal this thing because they don't sell it.
Why ain't you just MacGyvering?
Think we can use that rubber to reseal that?
Maybe.
We finna see.
Fitting. I guess. I wonder
We
if I can
can't be
take that back
we
apart.
can't be painting it in there.
We might could. I'm gonna take this apart.
Oh my.
He's a messy shop, kitty.
Oh, so it's one big piece of rubber.
I tell you what, it get over 70 degrees out there and y'all think you are getting air conditioning.
It's 72 in here.
So now that I've seen this is a solid piece, I've abandoned this plan here. I've got one of my fender grippers here, a Ford one. I'm gonna sacrifice the corner of it to make this. This may have never been done before. What do you think, Wall?
Probably not.
We don't really have anything with nice enough paint to need one of these anyway, do we?
No.
We'll use it one day if we ever get one of these cars done.
Just going the extra mile, huh?
I am on this one, you know. We want it to last. I'd rather do it now than get down the road and wish I would have done it, you know. See, it breaks that off, Wall.
Wow.
That stays in there. This may be my finest hour right here. This is great.
Your best work right here.
Right here. This is it. Just think how many of these we could do with one fender gripper. Can't do it. It'll pop all at once.
Yeah, no, I can't. That's difficult.
One-handed.
How
One-handed.
in the world? That's crazy.
What's his deal, huh?
Where is he? I can't even find
I
him.
don't know where he's at. He won't cut. He changed. So this guy was right there. It's gotta work. It's gotta work better than what it was, huh?
For sure.
I'm gonna go ahead and patent that. So, see, this is why we're out here. We're doing this in the name of science, okay? This is how our society furthers as a whole. By some of us going out on a limb and trying things nobody's ever done before. Guys like me, Buzz Aldrin. What's the other guy's name? Neil Armstrong. We're out here blazing new trails.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good. Ew.
It's just rotten.
Ew.
You helping, Jamal?
He's real worried.
I don't know what he wants out of here. Oh, we're gonna have a quarter of a Ford emblem right in the middle of this. It's perfect. Now that we turn that into a gasket, our front edge is broken and extremely brittle. So we're gonna have to re-glue all this stuff in place. I'm just happy that that worked right there. Yeah, we're gonna have to JB weld all this back.
This is really janky, Dad.
Thank you.
I mean that in the most unoffensive kind of way, you know?
Thank you. I honestly can't believe I said the word JB Weld without Ralphie appearing. Usually you say that and he just shows up. This is JB Quick Weld. We do everything quick around here. Oh, he appeared. Imagine that. We must have said it 3 times, Tosh. That must have been what made it happen. I got all my little pieces in here. Ooh, okay.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Think it'll work?
Yeah,
Ralphie thinks you can fix anything with JB Weld.
you can.
It's fax in it, Ralphie.
I think that'll do. Don't you?
I think it will.
Oh man, that's kind of a mess, but where are you gonna get another one, huh?
Yep.
So we got our freshly rebuilt brand new heater box here. Surprisingly, our seals are actually good. Steel that go up against the body. Well, at least the ugly side is at the back where nobody will see it.
I mean, that's not.
We should like paint that or something.
I don't know if you can help out at all.
You know, it actually kind of helps. Squeezy's in there in the air conditioning, and the air kind of blows out through this hole here. Gives me just a little bit of what her world's like, you know?
Must be nice.
Yeah, it must really be nice. That's scary right there. Afraid it's gonna snap everything.
See, I was
It's showing to be over full. I don't know why. We're good. So I actually cut this blower motor wire when we took it out, so I'm going to go ahead and connect this back. That's one nice thing about the solder stick connectors is you don't have to get a crimper in there if it's a hard place to get to. If you want to get some of these solder stick connectors for yourself, go to solderstick.com, use code JOSH20 to get 20% off your purchase. They also have ring connectors, spade connectors, heat shrink, a little bit of everything. I'm going to try to bend this over a little bit more where it's so close to the firewall. Hopefully I don't regret doing this. It was running straight into the firewall there. I didn't really want that.
Sometimes you just gotta put 2 pry bars on it.
Double pry bar, never before seen. Jamal just got in the van for the post office people. Well, he's under it now. Ralphie had to go get him out of the van. He hopped inside the van, Ralphie? Yeah. Jamal. Okay, push it back. I think we're good. We're golden. Ralphie, can you go find me some 5/8 heater hose, like a longer piece than this?
Yeah.
That's 3/4.
Oh. I mean, that's only 6/8. Ain't nothing a hose clamp can't fix.
Alright, we got all new heater hoses on there. I just gotta do this. For some reason this is a 1/2" hose and this is a 5/8, so we gotta get some sort of barb that can convert those. We may have something around here we can use. I don't know. I feel like we can put our fan on though and set our radiator in it. So this ain't the only Magnum swap we're doing on this motorhome. We're also doing Magnum shocks on it. I think these were $80 a piece. They were not cheap at all. And these are specifically designed for one of these that's been converted to a motorhome. So we really want this thing to be stable out on the highway. So we're gonna go ahead and put this on. I really should have done this while the engine was out. It would have been easier. Ralphie thinks he can push that in. I'm gonna say no on this bad boy. Look at the size of the shaft on that. Man, those are serious shocks.
Oh, I push it like barely.
Oh yeah, them's out.
Yeah, they are. Looks like they have been changed though at one point. Another dauber's nest. That thing's so thick it barely fits in there.
Did you push it?
Yeah.
Oh, I hear it.
I did it.
You'll be hanging them curves now on this thing.
You darn skippy I'm gonna be.
Look at the difference in our bushings there.
Oh man.
Yeah, I think we got a little bit better. And I can push these in easy. Yeah, I think that's gonna help a lot. It's hard to get to with this engine in the way. Yeah, hand me that. Let's see if I can get it back in place. That's gonna work.
Awesome.
So I'm smearing some copper RTV inside these exhaust head pipes here just to help it seal up even better. I always like to do this when I put exhaust system on like this type of flange.
Word.
I'm a press fit under that transmission pan. Oh, man.
Your nose has been rubbing
Yeah,
against
every time I do this, I hit the crossmember.
it. That's great.
The amount of hair that come off of this dog is
We
ridiculous.
make a mini Ellie.
You could make some old man a toupee with that.
So I found a 1/2-inch barb to 3/8 pipe thread fitting, and it works out just right for the size of this 5/8 hose. So we're gonna use it as our adapter here to go from the one size to the other. We're getting close, Ralph.
Yeah.
You feeling better about it?
That made me feel a lot better today, for sure. I'm feeling better, but I feel a whole lot better when I figure out the wiring, especially in the AC. You got your casing? Look, she puts it above her eyes like an idiot. She's probably gonna hit the fence. Come here. I like your casing. Look at you. What in the world? All right, let's see if they got what we need. They did not have the belt. The main thing I was wanting to get. So we're gonna have to go somewhere else and see if we can get the belt.
Looks like that might have been scored.
Back in business.
Woohoo!
Got one. All right, let's see. Is the belt correct? Right there. Something.
I think that's a negative then.
You got something wrong.
We're gonna make it work. We're gonna make this work.
Hey, I think.
Somebody get the belt stretcher.
What?
What's going on there?
Is Tato good?
Tater's mad.
Him
about
is
it.
so pretty. Look at him. Him was.
It's gotta be like a half a size off.
My good luck charm. Ding ding.
Oh, she on.
That's a tight fit.
That is the tightest fit. Probably a little too tight, I'm gonna go ahead and say. I will jot that number down and get one the very next size longer than that. But until then, we're gonna run this belt. After we took that old one off and it was so chewed up, I bought this fan clutch tool from Harbor Freight. You can put a air hammer on this end and it will tighten or loosen these things up. This is the fan clutch and fan blade from the Durango. So our factory fan blade was a fixed blade fan, and I honestly was going to reuse it, but this water pump does not accept a 4-bolt fan. So we're going to use this, which, I mean, in theory, it would help on fuel economy on the interstate if we don't need the big fan going all the time. You know, it'll kick the fan off. So we'll see how it works. Hopefully I don't overheat with it. It should be on there good now. Now it's time for our big upgrade. We got this 4-core aluminum radiator from Frostbite. If you watched the floor pan video, you've already seen this because we use the box as a pattern. This bad boy should really help out our cooling. Big selling point for me was it has all the factory brackets, so we can bolt our mechanical fan shroud on here. Hopefully this fan shroud meets up correctly with our Durango fan, because our fan, that fan is just a little bit bigger than the factory van one, so I don't know that this is going to fit, but we're about to find out. I think this actually fits the Dodge Charger as well. I think they use the same radiator, oddly enough. He's exploring, isn't he? How come his belly sticks out so far, as I want to know?
Because I guess he eats too much.
Yeah, look at his biscuits.
What's he doing biscuits for?
Oh,
He's just gonna.
makes him so sweet.
So here's the difference in the fan blade. You can see this is about 1 inch or 1.5 inches, something like that, bigger than this one. So it's gonna be a tight fit if this works.
We're gonna make it.
So probably every time I
Souse on it.
jump over a hill, it's
Yeah.
gonna go.
I'm pretty
Probably.
confident this time. I don't think we'll break down this time.
Good to know.
We started this thing up. We didn't know if it's gonna run, and your thing ain't gonna break down in it.
It doesn't look right there because it's so shiny and the other isn't.
Yeah, it looks like a jewel in a goat's butt. That's what it looks like.
What in the world? Ralphie painted this stuff and he painted the wrong side. He painted the other side really good. And this side he ran out of paint before he even did the other side. So poor guy. He didn't know which side this was gonna show. That's good news. Fan still rotates. Our radiator's where it's supposed to be. Let's see if our hoses match up. If so, we're good on our cooling system.
First little drop is of rain, and Rocky's hit the van. What are you doing, Rocky? Are you afraid of the rain? You're a baby.
Scooty, what are you doing, bud?
Come here.
Scooty, come here, bud.
You're okay.
It's okay to be little. Guys, that's going to be the end of this one. We got some parts we need to order. Hey, look at all the things we figured out did work.
Yep.
You can fit the Magnum intake under the doghouse. With a little bit of cutting and a little bit of welding, you can make the overdrive transmission fit in there. You got to do a little bit of cutting on your drive shaft to make it work. Unfortunately, with this ends up being like a holiday weekend, we kind of got delayed on our drive shaft. So next video though, you're going to see we got to figure out about our condenser and our AC lines. The main thing we got to figure out is our wiring. I wanted to get into that in this video, but we got a lot of days into what we did just in this one, so we just weren't able to do it unless y'all wanted to wait another week for a video to come out. But thank you for everybody who has been watching our channel and following along with this. We really appreciate you guys doing that. Even though none of their products were using this, thank you to Rec Pro for helping us with this motorhome build. They were a great help with this build. We really couldn't have done it without them. If you use promo code SleeperDude at recpro.com, you get 5% off your order. I don't know what he's doing. Here you go, Squeeze.
I'm good.
Good.
I'll take it.
Oh, look at this. Drink your RC Colas, eat your Vanias, and pour one out for your homies. Show a little respect. We're going to hammer down this thing. We're probably just going to keep working on this RV for the next few weeks because as of today, all three of them are out of school for the summer. So we have got to get on this RV. We really want to take a trip in it. We don't know if the big long trip's going to happen or not, but we're going to try our best. If not, we may end up doing something a little more local on the East Coast or something, but we'll do something fun in it. We would love to get this thing to the point where we can take cars to events, like haul the car behind this thing maybe one day, or maybe even drive separate and just stay in it, you know? Take it to Beach Bend or maybe Mo Party or something like that. That'd be cool. Thank you to Holley for their help with this build. That really helps as well. Check out the links below in the description. Go give Holley some love for us. They make about everything you can think of. You can check out our second channel app.
Sleeper Dude 2.
Sleeper
You can check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok app.
Sleeper Dude 88. Hey,
She's fast. If you know any sources for wiring information on the 5.9 Magnum swap, please let me know because I can't find nothing on it. I mean, you would think an engine that's been out for 30 years, you'd have all kinds of info on it, but I'm just going to have to wing it, I guess. But I'm used to that. You can buy our merchandise down below. You can click the link in the description. It'll take you to a website where you can buy our shirts and stuff. That really helps out as well. Thank you to everybody that comments, likes the video, subscribes, super thanks, super chat, members, all that really helps. We really appreciate all that. But hopefully this helps somebody that's wanting to do the same kind of swap with a 5.9 Magnum. I mean, I had no idea about the power steering bracket, so we learned a lot there. We learned that headers won't fit on this thing. We still got a lot to do, but we're getting real close. This has been 2 years getting up to this point. We also got to get back on the big block Fairmont. We got to get back on Wawa's car doing the brakes and the casings. We need to figure out what's wrong with the transmission on the Galaxy. We're making progress on our building, so you can see another video on that coming up. But thank you to Factor for sponsoring this video. That really helps out. Please go check them out. Use code SleeperDude50 for 50% off. 50. There you go. Hey, that was gentle.
That was
He's
good.
coming around.
Not your finger on
He did not. Man, I'm just excited about going on a trip in this thing. I love traveling. I love history. I love seeing pretty scenery. I just love it. There's just something about it that I like. I think my dad kind of instilled in me like a sense of adventure and travel. We always went on trips and stuff, so I always enjoy traveling.
I'm taking the scenic route.
As I get older, I like the scenic route better and better. Yeah, I didn't like it when I was a teenager. That's how it works, isn't it? Well, we better go see Rocky and Vania, or they're gonna be mad at us.
Whoop, whoop. Whoop-a-doo, whoop, whoop. Whoop-a-doo, whoop-a-doo.
Oh, here you go, Rocky. There you go, buddy. Okay, Granny, the last one. Last one.
So big.
Oh, In the face, yeah. Oh, okay. Thanks, Rocky. If it's 1 inch above him, he'll never stop.
Oh, you're about to.
Whoa! Oh, has she ever done that to me? I don't think she's ever jumped up on me. There you go, Granny.
Oh,
You gag every time?
it's disgusting.
There's nothing disgusting about Granny. All right,
Does she really need it?
look how easy she is now.
Does she need that part
Here,
control?
look.
That's a good pig.
Oh, she went over.
Look how big she is.
Golly.
We need to
I
cut
feel
her
like
off.
she's doubled in size just like in the last few months. How do you get that big eating grass and stuff?
She's a wild boar.
And remember,
Jesus saves.
And George Nelson withdraws.
bye. Yeah. The last melon. It ain't easy being crazy.